Hi there, welcome to Cooking with Kenny G. In today's video, we are going to be making these healthier whole wheat oatmeal chocolate chip cookies. Now these are packed with protein and soft, chewy goodness. These things are monsters. You can't make them smaller if you want, but you are gonna enjoy these flavor bombs guilt-free. I promise you. If you're new to the channel, make sure to take your spatula, smash that subscribe button. Well, click on it anyway. Look for any links that are mentioned in the description box down below. Don't forget to leave some comments or any questions that I can answer. Now remember, stick around to the end of the video. There will be some links there for printable PDF recipes of this video and of other videos that I've done so you can start your own pro level cookbook. So let's put on the apron, grab the knives, fire up the stove, and get after it. So first thing you want to do, get all your ingredients together, less mess, less stress. Mise en place, as the French chefs and bakers call it. There you go, you just learned some French. So we're going to start with unsalted butter, some dark brown sugar. Now I like to use dark brown sugar because it's got a little more molasses in it, so it's got a little deeper flavor, adds a little more flavor to your end product of your cookies. Got some coconut oil here, 2 large eggs, and some vanilla extract. So that's it for the wet ingredients. Now on to the dry ingredients. I have here quick cooking oats. Now you can use rolled oats if you want. They're both processed the same way. Basically they just harvest the oat grain, they steam it, they flatten it out. Rolled oats are whole, and the quick cooking oats, they just basically chop them up a little bit more so they cook faster. That's why they're called quick cooking oats. I've got a whole wheat flour here. Now whole wheat is healthier for you than white flour because it has the wheat germ and the bran added into the flour, which adds more nutrients into it. I've got cinnamon, baking soda. I've got some sultana raisins here. I'm going to show you a pro tip on these. Make your cookie a lot better. I've got some pecans and hulled sesame seeds, and probably the best part, dark chocolate chips. Now the reason I use dark chocolate chips rather than semi-sweet chocolate chips is there's a little less sugar in them. There's a higher cocoa content and a higher cocoa butter content, which have been proven to be better for you, so that makes the cookie more healthy. Now don't worry, remember I said that there will be a link for the recipe for this at the end of the video, so all the measurements will be there. Now I use metric in my measurements because I'm in Canada, but I will put imperial measurements on there too for my friends south of the border. Now you've got all your dry ingredients measured and ready to go. It's time for that pro tip that I promised you. What I like to do is take my dry raisins, put them into a container, and soak them with hot water. Now the reason I use hot water is it'll absorb quicker into the raisins than if I were to use cold water. And while all my ingredients are mixing together, the raisins will absorb the water, they'll plump up, and then they'll be nice and moist when you bake the cookies. And it'll also prevent the raisins from burning. Nobody likes a burned raisin in their cookie. Now the raisins are soaking in hot water. It's time to get the wet ingredients together. Get over to that beautiful little KitchenAid and get mixing. So why don't you come a little bit closer and I'll show you what I'm doing. I've got the mixer set up now with the paddle, and I'm going to use that to cream together the butter, coconut oil, and the brown sugar. Now it's important to make sure that the butter and the sugar are well creamed to dissolve the sugar to incorporate into your batter. You get a dense, crunchy cookie rather than a soft, moist cookie if it is not creamed long enough. It will also increase the volume of your finished dough. Now how do you know that? The mixture starts to change color after about 3 to 5 minutes, and I'll show you what that looks like. Now 2 minutes have gone by, so I'm just going to scrape down the edges of this. You can see that it's already starting to lighten up a little bit. The sugar and the butter mixture. Just making sure that it's getting well incorporated down there. I'm going to put it back on for a few more minutes and I'll show you what it looks like when it's finished. Now that was 2 more minutes. As you can see, that's a lot lighter in color. You can feel it's a little bit lighter. And it's a little bit fluffier too, so this is ready to go. Just gonna add in the rest of the wet ingredients now. Now that's well creamed, I'm gonna add in the vanilla, the 2 eggs. And then we're gonna get that going for about 1 more minute, bring all the wet ingredients together, and then it's time to add the dry ingredients. Now those wet ingredients have been mixing for about a minute now. They look really good. Make sure to take the paddle off, scrape it down in there. We're gonna mix together the dry ingredients and then add them into the wet ingredients and we'll be finished. It's probably best to mix the dry ingredients together in a bowl separately. That way they're kind of well incorporated. So I've got the oats, the flour, the baking soda, and the cinnamon. Just gonna give that a little stir to mix it together because I'm not gonna add it all in at once. I'm gonna add it in 2 batches, so it's best if I mix it up and then it'll incorporate it well. And then once the flour and oat mixture is mixed in with the wet ingredients, then I'm gonna take the final 3 ingredients, the chocolate chips, the pecans, and the sunflower seeds, and mix those in at the end. This is almost finished now. Just make sure you get right down to the bottom. Tends to clump together a bit. Just to make sure you get that last little bit of dry ingredient in there. I'm gonna mix that for about 20 to 30 more seconds. Scrape that down well, get right down to the bottom. Scrape the paddle too. We're gonna add the other 4 ingredients into it and it will be ready to go. Now the dough's pretty much finished. All we have to do is add in the tasty bits now. We've got the pecans, sunflower seeds, those dark chocolate chips, and then the soaked raisins. I don't know if you can see, but they are about twice the size of when I started from, and that's just from absorbing that moisture in there. So I'm gonna mix that until those ingredients are incorporated. There we go, that's well mixed. That was about 10 seconds. Doesn't take very long at all. Look at that. Perfect. All right, on to the next steps. Now I've got the dough all ready to go. It's off the mixer. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna scoop it. So I've got these scoops here. This one's about 4 ounces. This one here is about 1 ounce and 3/4. Now I know I said I use metric, but I just know these things by the ounce size. I've never actually found the metric equivalent for them. Aluminum pans here that I'm using. I'm gonna scoop the dough onto the aluminum pans. I also have a silicone mat on here. Love these silicone mats. You can throw it in the oven. You can bake with it. You can actually freeze it. It makes cleanup of the trays a breeze. If you're the one that's doing the cleanup, I hate trying to scrape baked on stuff off these aluminum pans. Also save you money too on parchment paper. So let's get scooping. I'm using a bigger scoop because I like a big cookie. These are actually, they're massive, but it's my guilty pleasure, I guess. I'm gonna scoop these fairly close together because I'm gonna put them in the fridge for 1 hour. That'll be a pro tip that I'm gonna show you. So I'm gonna continue scooping and then we'll get on to the next step. Place the cookies in the fridge for 1 hour. This allows for the flavors to develop, flour to absorb some of the liquid, and to cool the butter. This will slow down the cookie from baking too fast and causing the cookie to be flat and sad. Nobody likes a sad, flat cookie. These are meant to be soft and chewy. All right, the cookies have been in the fridge for about 1 hour. I've got them on a tray. I've got 6 on a tray. Remember I said these things are absolutely massive. If you bake them all in that one tray, they would be one big cookie mess. So 6 cookies on a tray in a 350 convection oven. If you don't have a convection oven, then it is a 375 regular oven for about 15 minutes. So I'll see you in about 15 minutes and I'm going to show you a pro tip. All right, the cookies got about another 15-20 seconds to go until they're baked. So what I'm going to do is get myself set up with a couple little cork hot pads here. I'm going to take the pan out. It's going to go on there. I don't want to burn my countertop. And cookies are ready. Oh, those look fantastic. This glove looks ridiculous, but it works so great. So what I've got is a flat bottom container here and a little bit of pan spray. Just spray the bottom of this container. And I'm gonna press the cookies down. This is that pro tip that I was telling you about. This helps compress the baked cookie and it keeps it very moist and also uniform too. It's all about having it look real pretty and real uniform. Now, I don't want to contradict myself because I'd said before that we were creaming the butter and the sugar together. That's to keep the mixture nice and light and fluffy, but all this does keeps it uniform, and then it keeps the cookie super moist, super chewy. They stay this way for a couple days if they last that long. So just finish this process and then I'm gonna leave them on the tray, let them cool for, I don't know, a couple minutes before I put them onto an actual cooling rack. They're a little bit soft and a little bit pliable right now, and I don't want them to break. It's been a few minutes. I'm gonna get the cookies onto a cooling rack so they can cool down fully. So grab the ridiculous glove. The tray's actually not that hot anymore. Do this, and then get the cookies, I'm not left-handed, onto the cooling rack and let them cool down. There we go, cookies are finished. I'm gonna leave these on the tray until they cool down and they're ready to eat. Or you can eat them hot, but they're still kind of soft and pliable. They might break apart. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you like this video and are gonna make your own wicked, awesome oatmeal chocolate chip cookies that are healthy. You can take pride in knowing that they are packed with goodness without the badness. Now don't forget to hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed our time together and learned something that will help you on your way to flavor country.